We're back at it again with another Battlefront update. With the Rise of Skywalker the movie releasing in theaters later this week, it's of little surprise we got treated by DICE today to a whole brand new video trailer showcasing the Rise of Skywalker DLC for Battlefront 2. In addition to this awesome, beautiful trailer, DICE have also put out a community transmission detailing the 4 new reinforcements we'll be getting, new hero changes, era selector details, and as well some pretty cool quality of life improvements coming too, like for example pinging objectives in the game now. As always, we'll be covering all of this and more in today's video. And before we get into any of that, but a quick reminder, as if you do like these type of videos, then do remember to give it a like to show your support for not only this update series, but also the content within it. With that out of the way, let's get into it. Jumping in the community transmission that we got today, we'll start off with the new jungle planet coming in the update called Ajan Kloss. To quickly remind everyone, this planet will arrive in both co-op and heroes vs villains in this update and will join alongside other sequel trilogy planets in both Instant Action and Capital Supremacy in January 2020. And while the new update will arrive tomorrow on the 17th, do keep in mind that Ajan Kloss won't join the game's map rotations until a few days later on December 20th. Moving on to the new reinforcements, we have the First Order Sith Troopers, whose 3 abilities are Combat Rush, Seeker Tactics, and Oppression Grenade. Activating the Combat Rush ability will boost the sprint speed of the Sith Trooper, defeat enemies while it's enabled to trigger health regeneration and extend the time of Combat Rush. Seeker Tactics will allow the Sith Trooper to scan the nearby area to reveal the 4 closest enemies, and defeating those will reveal more. The third ability in the Sith Trooper's arsenal is the Oppression Grenade. This is a grenade that damages any nearby enemies, as well as blocking their ability to recover health for a short period of time. Like expected, the Sith Trooper will be part of the Infiltrator class. Following that is the First Order Jet Trooper, and their 3 abilities are Jetpack, Tri-Barrel Launcher, and Jet Tackle. The Jetpack ability enables flight while spending fuel, and the advanced nature of it allows for hover mode, which can be activated by aiming down the sights of their weapon while in the air. As for their second ability, activating Tri-Barrel Launcher will configure the blaster to fire from the Tri-Barrel projectile launcher at the expense of increased heat buildup, making it a daunting weapon to come across, but timing is everything. Their third and final ability is Jet Tackle, which sees the First Order Jet Trooper charge forth along the ground and slam onto opponents, knocking them off their feet. Next for the Resistance, we have the Ovisian Gunner, which surprisingly looks nothing like a Resistance gunner because it's canonically really not, and DICE kinda fooled us on that in the last CT, but anyways. The Ovisian Gunner has 3 abilities in Charge, Defensive Stance, and Anti-Armor mode. By activating her charge ability, she can charge forth and slam into her enemies to knock them down. When she's not on the offensive, she has the ability to activate Defensive Stance, which instantly cools down her modified Z6B rotary cannon, and any damage dealt replenishes health for both herself and any nearby allies. For her third ability, she switches her modified Z6B rotary cannon into anti-armor mode, gaining some much needed increased efficiency against both shields and vehicles. Basically the mode you want to use against the First Order ATSTs. The gunner itself will act as an enforcer class for the Resistance. Lastly is the Cathix Spy, who operates fearlessly behind enemy lines. He has 3 abilities in Truncheon Attack, Scanner Beacon, and Rapid Fire. Close proximity to an enemy will prove to be the opportune time to activate the Truncheon Attack ability. Doing so will hit the enemy in a series of blunt force melee strikes with his truncheon. These strikes can also be chained into a powerful third strike which will knock the enemy down to the ground. Scanner Beacon will allow the Cathix Spy to deploy a decoy that relays enemy locations and disrupts their scanner to display a false enemy. If deployed outdoors, it can also be used to call in a remote bombardment. While a specialist in hand-to-hand combat, the Rapid Fire ability gives the Cathix Spy the option to overload his blaster to rapidly fire it with maximum damage output. Like expected, the Cathix Spy will be classified as an Infiltrator class for the Resistance. Some other new features as mentioned in the last CT for tomorrow's update include the new appearances for Rey, Finn, and Kylo Ren, which will be available to unlock through credits or crystals. But if you bought or upgraded to the Celebration Edition, then you're gonna be getting all of these appearances for free. Along with that, the sequel trilogy will already be available to play in co-op tomorrow on 3 maps for the time being, which are Takodana, Jakku, and Starkiller Base. More, of course, are expected to arrive in January. The December Rise of Skywalker update will also contain some very cool quality of life changes as well. That should benefit everyone on the battlefront. This includes pinging, allowing squad mates to signal in the user interface on which capture point they are intending to go to in Capital Supremacy and co-op. In addition to that, we will be getting the highly requested era selection screen for co-op, including the option for matchmaking into any game. The era selector is also of course coming to Capital Supremacy, but not until next month because that's when the sequel trilogy will be getting added to Capital Supremacy. Another new quality of life improvement is the player health bar, which now has been updated to showcase when a player's health is being blocked from healing or health regeneration. Plus, DICE have also polished the timings of the damage reduction messaging animations when evading, and weapon crosshairs are now dimmed when the player cannot fire. As for hero tweaks, there are some very notable changes coming in tomorrow's update regarding targeting for heroes. As now, the following abilities for Luke, Palpatine, Anakin, Chewbacca, Dooku, Kylo Ren, Vader, Obi-Wan, Rey, and Yoda will now show the amount of players targeted. We knew this change was certainly coming to Vader, but I didn't expect to see DICE go ahead and apply it to a good chunk of some of the other heroes in the game too. So it will be interesting to see how this will affect the gameplay of some other heroes like for example Chewbacca or Anakin. Meanwhile, with the First Order Jet Trooper now coming to the game, DICE will be redesigning Boba Fett to closer resemble some of the new mechanics introduced. This includes such improvements to Boba Fett as having a continued momentum when out of fuel, and his fuel bars now being shown near the crosshair. In addition, Boba can no longer crouch while in the air, which actually now avoids accidentally landing directly into a crouch, plus his fuel now regenerating when jumping, and Boba being able to fly by holding jump as well by holding the zoom input. Following Boba, DICE are doing some other individual hero-specific tweaks to Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Bossk. Obi-Wan, for example, will no longer prevent dodges with his restrictive mind trick ability, while Anakin's footsteps audio glitch has now been fixed. Bossk, on the other hand, is getting a more substantial tweak, now having a short fire input block while throwing Deoxys Grenade and while deploying proximity mines. According to DICE, this is done to ensure he cannot fire while deploying these, similar to how other characters behave while deploying and throwing gadgets. In addition to this, the duration of his fire block while activating Predator instincts has also been increased to match his animation, so now he can no longer fire the first shot before he holds his rifle in both hands again. And before we end off, we do have some very good news regarding new trooper weapons finally making their way into the game. As community manager Ben Wok recently revealed this by saying, "We have talked about weapons, don't have anything concrete to tell you today though. We are firmly aware it's one of the community's big ticket items." Now this is actually pretty big and good news regarding new weapons, as previously DICE had them as a low priority and showed little to no interest in them at all. However, judging by this comment, it's looking like that mentality over at DICE has started to change and for the better, most likely due to a more recent pushback from the fans, with Ben now suggesting that they're working on giving us something here. Because if they weren't like before, then Ben, like in a lot of other responses we've seen from him, would have just said something along the lines of, "Oh, we have no plans for this," or "This isn't something we're looking at." Instead, he told us that DICE are aware of how big of a game changer this would be for the community, and that they're currently talking about the topic of new weapons. But he can't give us any specific details about it right now due to obvious reasons. So at the moment, he's gotta be vague on how he gives us this information, but so far, it looks like it's positive news and things are finally going in the right direction for new trooper weapons coming to Battlefront 2. But that'll do it for this Battlefront update. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel to not only support it, but keep up with Star Wars news, gaming, and canon lore released every week. And consider following me on Twitter and Facebook to never miss out on the latest Star Wars content. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.